right. What's going on, everybody? Okay, so let's talk about what's going on here today, day number 11 of the Combine. This is the evaluation process that I'm going through on TopStep. And I've set my charts up on TopStep pretty closely to the way I set them up on TradingView. Somehow we are not able to get a 3 hour chart. We're not able to produce a 3 hour chart. It only lets you produce a 4 hour chart. And our strategy requires that you have a 3 hour chart. So I'm going to see if I could get that changed. The 1 hour and the 15-minute chart here, CCI with all of the readings, the values that I like. And I've got my stochastic here as well to let me know about impulse or correction phases, right? This is our timing indicator. Okay, so I've seen this behavior before. This is these yellow lines here. That is the Sunday opening range. All right, that's Sunday opening range, and Sunday broke out to the upside and slowly made its way all the way up to here. Double topped. It double topped. You can see that on the 3 hour chart and also on the 1 hour. Right there, pulled right back to that top area and then crashed right around, what is that? Right around 8:30, pulled all the way back to the Sunday opening range and rapidly broke out of there. However, we couldn't take this. We couldn't take this as an entry. It would have been a guess, and looks like the guess is working out. That is just super frustrating because the readings that we have on the chart do not allow us to take this demand zone down here. In order to take a demand zone, we really need to have all of our conditions met, right? We've got to be above the 50 simple moving average on the 1 hour chart, and we've got to be above the zero line on the CCI on both the 1 hour and the 3 hour. In this case, I've got the 4 hour chart up here. But if we look at it here, you can see here on TradingView, you could see how CCI on the 1 hour is below -100 as we were pulling into that, opening range. And CCI is also below the zero line on the 3 hour chart, right? So those are setups to go short. And what happened here? It pulled into Sunday's opening range and just like did a rocket ship out of there. Okay, and it's coming back into this supply zone here. So I don't know what's going to happen here. Not sure what's going to happen. It is 9:30 now, and we have to see what's going to happen here. So we will box out the 15-minute candle here. We will box out the 15-minute candle and we'll see what's going down, right? But this looks like it's going to be, unless you took the trade here, this is going to be a very wide opening range. And that's rough. That's really rough. I want to finish the combine. I want to hit my $3,000 goal, but the setups just aren't there. And we're taking really the best of the best as far as setups go. And when you're trading the micros, this could be a bit daunting because, you're working with, you're bringing in three rather than I was right. $100 on the micro is like $1,000 on the full contract. So, I mean, look at this thing. There's no way, there is no way to predict that this was going to happen, right? There was no way. The only thing that you could go on is now that I've been watching the Sunday opening range for about, I would say 4 weeks now, 4 or 5 weeks. And it's done this every single time, but I can't get my brain take the trade. I cannot get my brain. I can't wrap my head around it because it's going against my strategy, right? It's going against our system. And so my brain is not allowing me to take the trade. I guess I could take a small risk, but I didn't even want to do that. So I'm still in that overly cautious mode because we've learned we've learned to trade defensively. We've learned to trade defensively. And if the trade doesn't look spectacular, where we have all of the conditions met to go long, we just simply walk away from the trade. And you either condition yourself to do that, or you struggle with something else. It would have been, let's take this trade that's outside of the strategy. Like, I know the trade is outside of the strategy and the logic works and everything, but and then you end up giving money back to the market. So it's either one or the other. And that's what I'm discovering here. It's either one or the other. When you take trades outside of your strategy, you will go through probably boom and bust, right? I was listening to a guy live on this YouTube channel, and he was saying, I make 200 here, 300 there, and then I lose 200 here, 300 there. So if this is you, if that sounds familiar, where you make a little bit of money and then you end up losing a little bit of money, that means that your targeting is off. You may have a strategy that's a little bit better than 50%, right? Maybe 53% or so. That little bit could be an edge for you. I don't know what strategy this guy was using, but he was frustrated that he made 200 bucks and then he would lose 200, or he would make 300 and he'd lose 350 or something like that. So that is definitely a targeting issue. And he's probably jumping out of the trade too soon because he's not using an ADR checkpoint for a target. That's your average daily range. He may not be using a system that shows you an extended trend the way we have with the TrendCloud system. If you're not paying attention to how deep you are into the trend, or if the trend is extended, then that could really hurt you in the long run. So, one of the things that we really like about the opening range breakout is that those variables, there's two variables that have become fixed, and that's the where and the when, right? Where do you take the trade? Well, you're going to take the trade when it starts to break out above the opening range. Okay, when do you take that? Well, you take that at 9:45 Eastern when the opening range forms. So we have the where and the when fixated, and that's excellent. And then we have our system, right? 3-hour chart, CCI has to be above the zero line. 1-hour chart, CCI has to be above the zero line as well. On our chart also, price has to be above the 50 simple moving average, right? These are the components that we need met pre-market, right? We need to have that pre-market. As of right now, we're back in it, right? We've got it. We've got CCI 1-hour chart. We are above the zero line on the 1-hour CCI. We're above the 50 simple on the 1-hour. And this is the 4-hour chart, but if we go take a look, and I'm on delayed data here, I have to get that. I thought I could deal with not having data on the TradingView platform because I have it here on the TopStep platform, but unfortunately on TopStep you cannot access a 3-hour chart, which is very bizarre to me. Like, if you click onto this, if you go here, right, or hour, there's nothing here that gives you or minutes, 180 minutes. You're not even able to type it in. Like 180, right? See how it's red? Doesn't allow you. You can do 240, right? It gives you the 4-hour. It doesn't give you the 3-hour. Well, this really kills me, man. Whenever I see something like this, it pulls back into my Sunday opening range here. Right, there you go. Sunday opening range breaks out, shallow retest, and just this slow move up, kind of retests again, continues up. That all took place on Sunday. And what did we do? Retested that Sunday opening range, and then boom, this big rip to the upside. Nothing we could have done would have prepared us for that. It did break, so now we have broken to all-time highs here, right? We can get rid of that. We have broken above all-time highs. Maybe we can put whoops, let's put that up there. Maybe we can let's put a line right there. All-time high has been broken. We'll make that a thin. What color should we make it? Now let's make it like white or something. Okay, there's all-time high right there that we just broke through. So super wide opening range here. Super wide opening range, but we do have conditions met. We do have conditions met to take this trade. Where's ADR checkpoint? ADR is all the way up there. Here's previous day's high. Previous day's high. Are we going to make ADR? 20 night. Look at this thing just take off. Oh God. There was no way. There was just no way of getting into this thing. Look at this thing, man. This is insane. Just opened up and took off. Well, it is what it is. Really wish I took that. I really wish I just took a chance. Sunday opening range, guys, has really been very, very lucrative. I just can't wrap my head around it because it's usually outside of the strategy, but it did it again. This is just something that I'm noticing, right? Sunday, draw out that Sunday opening range, and then on Monday morning, take the retest of it. I am going to start doing that. I've got to write that down and get it straight in my head. The retest on Monday morning of that Sunday opening range seems to really be quite effective. Take a chance on it. One micro contract, whatever. This way you don't get blown out of the water. Okay, so we've got 1 minute left. Got 1 minute left. All right. There's the opening range there and there. There's the opening range. 1 minute left. Oh boy. We've got everything that we need. We got everything that we need. Where's the buy order? Come on, Jesus Christ, this thing. I need to get with it, guys. I need to get with it. Damn it. Where are the buy orders? This thing, and there it is. Unbelievable, guys. Boy, that was a big screw up. I don't think this is going to retest. This is just taken off. If it does pull back for a shallow retest, great. Man, oh man. All right, well, can't get too down on myself. Can't get too down. I don't know why it wasn't. I've got to bring up the dome and practice taking trades on the dome where I can just click right where I want instead of doing it this way with the this is a big day. I really needed this day to get the combine finished up. I really needed this day. Oh well, still getting used to the TopStep platform. And that is what happens. That is what happens when you're not used to using the platform. But at least I'm right. At least my strategy is correct. That is the main thing. I will get better at using the TopStep platform. It's just good to know that the strategy is there and it's right. But you can't chase stuff like this. You can't chase stuff like this. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Well, we'll see. See how we had everything set up and it took off right away. And if you're not able to place that trade quickly, kept hitting the plus button here. And that's not how, on TradingView, that's how it's set up. It's set up where you hit that little plus button and you can take the trade. But on TopStep, you have to right click onto the chart to pull up the buy and sell orders. Oh my goodness. What a screw up. What a screw up. Very, very, very frustrating. Very frustrating, but we might get a retest. Let's mark off again. Where is that ADR checkpoint? 429. Unbelievable. Look at this. Unbelievable. It's almost already at that ADR check. 3429 right there. Unbelievable. Would have had a huge day today. This would have been a huge day. Very, very frustrating. Well, I'm glad we're documenting all of this because this is real life. This is real life. This is the real life stuff that happens to you during the process of getting funded. And one of those things is learning how to use, the software that you're on, And if you are a beginner, it makes it very tough, right? Look at that, 23,429. There's your ADR checkpoint right there. This thing looks like it's just gonna take off, not come back, and smash that ADR. And well, the system works. The system works. The strategy works beautifully. And I was not able to get in there. That was user error right there. User error. What's it looking like on the, let's get rid of this white line. Let's get rid of that line. All-time highs came into the Sunday opening range. Boom, hit that. That is a really good marker. That is a really good marker for, and we've got, there's the opening range right there. All right, dang it, unbelievable. Okay, unfrickin'. Hopefully we get a shallow retest, right? Well, let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. Okay, here comes the retest. Let's see if we can get in on the retest here. Very strong readings for this move. You can also see very bullish candle, right? That's one of our bonus components, right? When a bullish candle forms the opening range and you have momentum and trend on your side across those two multiple time frames, guys, you've got a very powerful system. It's a very powerful system when you combine momentum and trend across multiple time frames and you see that bullish candle form the opening range. That is what you call a spectacular trade setup, and you've got to take it. You've got to take it. So let me put a line right about there. There's the ADR checkpoint. Maybe we get a retest and we can take every single contract, right? All 5 contracts right to that ADR checkpoint. All right. Let's give it a shot. See if we can make that happen. Let's see if we can make that happen. I will be vindicated. I'll feel really good about myself. But look at those readings, right, guys? And we are looking at the 4-hour chart, highest time frame, 4-hour chart, above positive 100 on the 4-hour, above positive 100 on the 1-hour, right? Above the 50 simple on the 1-hour. These are the 3 things that we look for. That is the baseline. Those are the baseline components that we look for. Then we have the bullish candle that formed the opening range. That's a bonus component. We've got the 5-minute candle that closed outside of the opening range, right? Break out and close out. Break above, close above, right? That's another bonus component. Everything's in our favor. Everything's in our favor. We're almost at the ADR checkpoint here. So I should be in this already, but because of user error, I couldn't bring up the buy order. I couldn't bring up the buy order. Eddie, I hope you're in this thing. I hope you're making money in this thing, buddy. Because this was quite the setup. This was quite the setup. So we'll see. We can still have some kind of a retest here. Still have some kind of a retest without pulling back too far, right? We want to have that shallow retest and then a move up. This thing pulled back a little bit. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Let's see if we can get that. Strategy worked. I did not. Right. One of the things about, there are good and bad things about automating a system. I really would like a semi-automatic trading system, something that I can still control, but something that will automatically, take those trades for me. We'll get there. We will get there as we progress and start to make some money so that we can put into this system and get it onto some kind of private cloud server so that it could run for us without getting disrupted. But we must be able to maintain control over it. Very confident that I'm very confident that I'm going to pass the combine. Obviously, we're doing very well. And then, the real money is going to start coming in with the copy trading, right? There's copy trading software. If we go over to Apex, right, which is the other prop trading firm, we're starting with TopStep. And TopStep has its own copy trading software, which is very nice. And I believe that you can trade five other accounts using the copy trader. And that's when, again, that's really when the big money is going to come in. All right, let's see if we can get some kind of a retest here, some kind of shallow retest. And then we did have quite a move up. I hope that this, doesn't retest all the way back down to the Sunday opening range here, because that's outside of our Monday opening range. Let's see what we can get to happen here. Let's see if we can get into this and make our way up to that ADR checkpoint there. Beautiful. Oh, really nice 5-minute candle. That is a strong 5-minute candle. Break above, close above. That's what we want to see. Bullish candle formed the opening range. Let's see if we can get shallow retest, right? Let's see if we can get a shallow retest. Nope, going back up. Come on, give us a retest. We are way above positive 200 on both 3-hour and 1-hour now. This is a very, very strong upward move here. Best thing to do is to leave it right at that opening range, but it looks like it's going to hit that ADR checkpoint. Maybe we get a couple of shots, right? Maybe hits the ADR, comes back, retests. I don't know. This is looking like it wants to rip through a few of those ADRs, right? In which case, that's the end of the move. That's the end of the move. It gave us a chance. It pulled back to the top of the candle there, and now it's making another move. That would have been another area to take the trade, just would have been a little bit deeper. It's already made quite a move up. Unbelievable. I can't believe I'm not a part of this thing. I can't believe it. There you go, 15-minute chart. 23 plus sign. I can't believe that. Can't believe that. Glad I am documenting this part because this is real life stuff. This is real life shit that you go through becoming a funded day trader. Got to know your software platform. You've got to know it's got to be smooth. We've been using TradingView for so long, we're like a gunslinger, with the TradingView software. TopStep software, not quite there yet. Still a little shaky. And that's what made me miss this trade. So super frustrating. But again, you got to look at the bright side. The strategy worked. The setup worked. Everything that we did worked. We're just not a part of it. I'm just not a part of it. And I'm trying to hit this. I really want to hit, I really want to hit 6,000, not just 3,000. I want to hit what we usually hit, 6 to 8,000 bucks. We only have $1,000. This would have been another $1,000 move. We would have had $2,000. We would have had $2,000. And, hopefully by the end of the month, we'll be able to do this. I don't want to get frustrated enough where I start taking any trade like, oh man, let's catch up. That's when things start to go wrong. That's when things start to go wrong. So everything that I record for you guys, I want it to be a lesson, a real life lesson for you guys. And I'll do that by being transparent and giving you my actual thoughts and feelings in these videos. In this documented series on becoming a funded trader, you may have the tendency, I know I have the tendency to jump into trades that aren't the best because I'm trying to catch up or make up for profits that I didn't take, trades that I didn't get to take. Sunday, I was at a baseball game with my family and I wasn't able to be in front of, the screen. Saw the opening range and worked out beautifully, right? Sunday worked out very nicely. And now we've got Monday, returned to that opening range, bounced out of there, formed the Monday opening range, broke out of there. I mean, so many opportunities, right? So many opportunities. Oh, the main thing is that you're seeing this stuff, right? And with your TrendCloud system, it's going to mark all that stuff off for you on the TradingView platform. That will all be marked off for you, which is why I can't wait to set up my screens again and have everything in front of me on multiple screens, multiple monitors, and really have that nice desktop set up again. It's definitely heading towards that ADR checkpoint there. Definitely heading towards AD. I mean, look at these readings. Just look at these readings. Look at this. Let's go over to 3-hour chart above positive 200, 1-hour chart above positive 200. This is unbelievable. Those are the momentum readings you want to see. And we are almost there, right? Almost there at that ADR checkpoint there. All super duper setup, and I just couldn't get the damn button to work. Couldn't get that fucking button to work. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Couldn't get the button to work. Crazy. Oh well. At least I was right. I knew what to look for. Do. Looks like we got 1 minute and 48 seconds left on the video, and then it's going to cut out. But if you're in this thing, manage it to that ADR. I would definitely take full profit. If you're in 5 contracts, definitely take full profit at that ADR checkpoint. Maybe front run it, right? Front run it a little bit. Take 5 contracts, or you can take off 4 contracts, let that other one, do whatever it's going to do. Maybe it comes back and retests. It might retest. You can give it a little room to retest, or just take the full 5 contracts there, and then leave the last contract at break even and just let this thing do whatever it's going to do. But that is what that would be the plan. That's what I'd be doing right now. That is what I'd be doing. So this turned into a really spectacular setup. We didn't quite have it, right? I was a little worried there. We had a very wide opening range, but on a bullish candle with uptrend on both the 3-hour and the 1-hour. CCI readings above the 0 line, and then they ended up going past 100, and then they went past 200. We got a little bit of a pullback right here, and then looks like that was it.